Yeah, it was in this game. Though we were shaky to start, everybody was with the pressure that West Virginia put on. I told him at halftime, our assistant coach, Brad Soderberg, he has a saying on his desk, and it's a Mike Tyson saying. It says everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. And we absolutely got punched in the mouth. We were poor on the defensive end. To be in that game, a 6-point game, giving up in the first half, it was either 9 offensive rebounds, 11 turnovers, or the other way. We were fortunate. I thought we clawed back a little bit at the end of the first half to make it manageable, but they had us. We weren't cutting hard to get open. We weren't finishing plays defensively. Just looked lethargic. That's a credit to how hard they play, how physical they are, and obviously it was a tale of two halves, how we played in the second half. And to get back to your original question, London was disappointed in himself, and then he stepped up, hit a couple big shots, and you need ball handlers on the floor. We tried to open the floor a little more in the second half as well.
Anthony Gill in the first half kept this thing from getting away.
He did.
What did you see from him?
He had a terrific game. I mean, he was very tough on the glass. You know, you look at 20 and 12, but you're gonna, if you can handle the ball and break their press, you're gonna get some easier ones on the back end of it. And I remember when we played VCU, you know, if you can break their press and you have numbers and you can get baskets at the, you know, in the lane, take them. If not, you try to back it out. Where West Virginia is a little different is when you'd break their press, they would just overplay, deny, and keep staying after you, and it made it tough. But Anthony made some tough plays, finishes, grabbed some rebounds just to keep us at least having a chance, because that thing got to, I think we were down 12 maybe in the first half. But he was really good in all areas. But early, everybody was, it was an adjustment, but we put ourselves in this spot to certainly learn and grow, and hopefully we did tonight.
Tony, how much for this particular team did maybe London maybe have to slide to the wing more for scoring, and how much did what he do in the second half remind you of the Carolina game last year after Justin went down?
Yeah, well, I think that that London, you know, Darius can play like a point guard, handle the ball. Malcolm can kind of handle the ball, play like a point guard combo. Same with London. So that's why I thought we'd be better prepared to start the game, to have 3 ball-handling guards on the floor. And we looked like we had 3 centers on the floor, I'll be honest, the way we were standing on the perimeter. But once those guys settled in, and part of it was offensively, we probably didn't give them enough room to attack. You know, there's a little feeling out with that. And once we opened up the floor a little bit and the guys got their bounce going on and we started limiting them to one shot, it changed the whole game. And I don't know if they wore down in the second half, but I don't think you can press that hard and then put all that energy into that, and then in the half court continue to play that hard. And I thought we got some easier buckets that were timely.
Did Devin have a big end tonight?
Devin, too. You know, and Evan Nolte came in, Isaiah Wilkins. I mean, all of them. I can say that. But Devin, we needed perimeter guys. If you were shaky with the ball, they were going to poke it away or put you in tough spots. And Mariel had a hard time. You know, his wrist isn't quite right yet, but they back-tapped him a few times. And possessions were valuable, especially when you're trying to claw back.
Yeah, Tony, London didn't have any shot attempts, I don't think, in the first half. Did you guys encourage him to look for a shot more? And also, him playing with Garrett, did you feel like that was as comfortable as those two both playing?
Yeah, I think definitely at times. You know, I think London, I don't want to make an excuse for him, but, you know, he was out. He had an appendectomy. I'm sure everybody knows that. So that's the first time he practiced hard once, twice. The first practice was more him moving hard, not engaging. Yesterday's practice was about, you know, an hour 15, and it was fairly intense, but it's just different when you're in a game, and we can't make it like what West Virginia does in practice. We put 7 and 8 guys on the floor and pressed, and we got these blue arms. We were knocking our guys around, but until you're in that setting and you got to go back and forth possessions, I thought he looked a little winded, a little rusty, but he responded. And that was the beautiful thing. But, of course, we got to have him look for his shot. That's important for us.
Following up, we talked the other day about being 9 days, whatever. It looked like physically he could do almost anything. He could jump in, probably as well as he does.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe go ahead.
Surprised you that even after seeing it last year, the guy can come back and perform like that.
Yeah, impressive. It was, and I don't know. They've changed that surgery about 10 years ago. It used to be an incision. Now it's obviously through a scope or laparoscopically they go through, I think, and there's, you know, so they can recover a lot faster. It's really just what they can handle. He dove for the ball at the end of the game, and I saw him holding his side. but he finished it. But he had some timely buckets. He's been known to do that in his career. And, yeah, I'm very impressive how quick, that's a matter of toughness, a matter of obviously great medical care. And the surgeon, our trainer, all that stuff is significant in that. So I guess it was. He had his surgery early Sunday morning. So, yeah, we're talking 7 days. Wait, what's today? No, it's not. 9 days. Bad math.
Coach, how much different was Virginia without Devon Carter on the court?
Yeah, I mean, I think that made a difference. They come at you in waves, but it was, he just, he was a little cold when he was out there. Obviously, feels like there's 7 guys on the floor the way they're flying around and moving, but they didn't shoot the ball particularly well. I thought defensively what a key for us is our post trap, especially in the second half. That was important for us because they were having to take some time off the clock, and I thought that bothered them. We came up with some big stops, and Carter, very good player, but, wasn't one of his better games, and obviously he makes them go in a lot of ways.
Tony, you were talking about what Brad's motto on the.
Yep.
How much did you guys talk about toughness and remind them of that?
Well, that's what I talked about. I mean, we talked about it before. I said this is a team that has a will and an aggressiveness that is tenacious. And I said you need to go against this. Doesn't matter who's the underdog, who's favored. It's just, can you try to outlast a team like this? And we have to become like that if we're going to take a next step. And so the way it started looked like we hadn't learned our lesson from past experiences, but they hung in there and they kept playing. And I thought it was again a positive step. But absolutely, we challenged them, but I wasn't firing, throwing chairs around, and I just said, look, either you're going to respond or you're not, and you all know the deal. And we talked about rebounding, we talked about understanding who we were and tried to make some adjustments to help them, and I think they responded well.
Tony, I know you've only played 9 games, so it's a small sample size so far, but I'm just wondering your impressions on the rule changes, the officiating emphasis, the way the games have been going for you, what you've noticed.
It's different. I think I got to choose my words wisely here. I think it's hard, when 2 teams are aggressive and physical and try to pride themselves defensively. Hopefully we're getting a better feel and adjusting defensively, playing without our hands. The officials are in some tough spots. My hope is there still is a feel to the game as an official. There is. And I understand freedom of movement. I understand a lot of things. But this isn't, you don't ABC it. You gotta be able to let guys play, and when guys are in position and they're moving their feet and maybe their hands are off, it's tricky. And I hope it'll improve. Players will adjust, and I hope officials will adjust too. But it provides some challenges, and you better have depth. And I hope it'll, again, not that they'll change, but it needs to get better. It does.
Are you getting a sense of what's called or what's not, the way you guys play?
It can be inconsistent, and that's not I think the game dictates that, just how physical it is, how fast. But it's I think that's where your guys look at you. We work hard in practice on protecting our feet, keeping our hands up, and we try to clarify before each game what they're going to allow. And again, hopefully it'll get to a better spot. It needs to.
Tony, I know fouls were a factor tonight, but you've had Devin on the court this season in situations where in years past he might not have been. What has he done with his game to kind of earn your trust?
He just worked hard. I mean, he's a sophomore. He redshirted a year, so he's in his 3rd year. But you wait your turn, you work, you develop, and maybe it doesn't happen in the first year or 2, but he's a hard worker. And look at his stat line. He was steady, and he's given us big lifts. He's just showed up, punched the clock, and I'll take guys like that are blue-collar guys all day. And he's got a great attitude, and his character's strong. So he's going to keep working and getting better. But he's a physical kid, and I think he's given us a great lift.